On the job is very fortunate to have with us Mr. Maulik Shah, the CEO of Almus Risk Consulting. Mr. Shah has had an illustrious career, beginning with Mahindra's, where he was in the corporate finance division, and later he moved on to Rosy Blue to manage their treasury. And today he heads Almus Risk Consulting, which provides risk consulting services to a lot of companies. Mr. Shah also comes with an amazing academic record, being an ranker in CA Inter as well as CA Final, along with an ICA WA degree, and to add to it a CFA degree. So I'd like to know, what does treasury management actually involve?
Treasury management in one word is all about cash flow management, and I think of late a lot of corporates have focused on cash flow certainty as a way to go while they manage the overall corporate finance. Now, when we talk about certainty of the cash flow, obviously there are elements of risk which one needs to really take care, which will make the cash flow a bit volatile, and that is where you also have an element of foreign exchange risk management, which is what we specialize into. But when you really look at the treasury management as a larger piece, it would include cash flow, budgeting, planning, balance sheet management, asset and liability management, the long-term and the short-term liquidity management, finance cost management. The entire piece, anything and everything to do with the liquidity, is what would really get covered under treasury management. Over last more than 2 decades, I would say, a lot of Indian companies have grown and expanded geographically, so beyond Indian boundaries. International finance, international trades have really expanded over a period of time. What it definitely brings along with it is the risk on account of the currency fluctuation. So if you are a corporate which is exposed to exchange rate risk, be it euro, be it dollar, be it GBP, be it yen, there is bound to be an uncertainty of the cash flows. So when it comes to treasury management, which is nothing but managing your cash flows and ensuring more predictability, more certainty in the cash flow management, the exchange rate fluctuation is going to have an impact on that. We as the risk managers, the Forex risk managers, their job is to ensure how much certainty you can bring in by way of your expertise, by way of your policies, putting in place the process, institutionalizing the entire risk management as a process, and ensure that the cash flow volatility is minimal. I first passed out as a CA, inter and final CA I cleared, as Nisha mentioned, I scored rank. So that was the first advantage that I had. I also did ICWA. Now, one thing which let me share with you, that when I cleared my CA, I had no idea that this is what is going to get accomplished today where I am. But for sure, what was available for me at that point in time is that I was clear about things that I don't want to do. Like when I did CA, I didn't want to get into audit, I didn't want to get into taxation, and at the same time I had a very vague idea about the areas that I want to get into, and one such field was a corporate finance. And within a corporate finance, from start of my career, the foreign exchange and the international finance has been one field which has always attracted me. One is definitely a qualification like CFA, the FRM. That courses definitely help. Even the MBA courses with the focus on international finance is definitely one qualification which one can have it for pursuing a career in this. But I think what is really important is having acquired the necessary qualification for you to really move forward and progress in this field. It's very important that you really take an on-the-job training, and to get into a job at the initial stage of your career which really exposes you into this market, because this is highly specialized. Like, you really, one is with a theoretical background, but the second important thing is you are actually operating as a risk manager or as a forex trader. Then that skill set that you develop over a period of time is very special.
So the internships and the
internship
only
is
going to help.
Absolutely, internship, get into a corporate finance job where they really expose you to the international finance and forex related area.
So, but the most of the corporate finance jobs are given to the IIMs and those grants. So what about the people coming from the second tier, third tier institutes. So what is their entry level into this role? Everybody wants to do corporate finance, but not
yes.
everybody gets that role.
So again, I would say corporate finance. So when you say everybody wants to get into corporate finance itself is a big place where there are multi-function within the corporate finance. So you having a clarity about risk management or the forex risk management, and second important thing is you being passionate on this particular area, because when you say corporate finance, people are aspiring to get into corporate finance, maybe to manage the banking relationship, or maybe to handle the cash flows, or even to get into the balance sheet or asset liability management. But when you talk about forex risk management, that's a specialized job, and if you're really passionate about it, for sure you get the required opportunity. It is definitely initial hiccups are going to be there in terms of getting into a job which you really wanted, but maybe then you can get into a kind of there are forex consultancy firms. You can actually acquire an experience by working with those firms. There are many such apart from Almus. So even that also could be one start point. No, there are courses which you can clear like FRM and all. These are all even this CFA 1 year course, which is DBF, Diploma in Business Finance. This again becomes a kind of a certificate, a diploma course. So you can pursue those qualifications. It definitely helps, and getting an exposure into an international degree, their material is very rich. CFA I've studied, and I did CFA from the local institute. But even those courses and the content of the entire 3-year course is extremely rich. It exposes you into the world economy, the international finance, and that is very key, especially in this particular field.
Forex markets, the international degree.
Yeah, it is.
But this is like you're talking about CFA or Forex. But what about an MBA finance if I do from US or UK?
It helps, for sure.
That helps. Thing. Yeah. And does that kind of a person get an entry level easily in Indian firms?
You always have an edge. So if you have done the the sort of courses from US, Harvard University, Stanford, pick up any international university, when you come to India, you surely has an edge over your peers who are competing for the same job.
So this is the Ivy League, sir, which is really like it's like as good as being an IIMs. So if you're like doing somewhere from say a second tier, third tier in the US thing, so will that also help?
Yeah, I think to my mind, because some of the international universities are really far rich in content when it comes to this field. Mm-hmm. Because again, foreign exchange is all about international finance, and it certainly helps. So if you're really someone who's wanting to be in this career as like full time, working on it for a longer time, acquiring such international degree really helps. So I think the first and foremost, it is all about passion, and passion for the function, passion for the field. Really looking at this as like your entire existence depends on this field. When you come to that stage is when it is no longer a work for you, because as long as you enjoy what you do, entire piece of stress and everything else that we talk about, it doesn't really matter, because like any other function, forex risk management is no different. You deal with corporate cash flows, advise them. There are larger thing at stake, and your advice, your consultations can make or break the corporates. So to that extent, the stakes are definitely higher, but I would say that is so for many other functions as well. So I think what is really required is that you keep elevating your own self. Make sure that you do whatever you do with 100% of integrity, 100% of discipline. It requires ongoing practice. It's like a daily practice. It's not like one time I have acquired certain qualification or certain milestones and that's an end of it. What is required is that you have got to be, each day is a different day, each day is a new day, and treat it like that. Stress happens when there is an element of fear, there is an element of whether will I be able to do, not do, but it definitely doesn't exist as long as you are 100% committed and delivering your best. That can actually put pressure, because your non-performance shows up right there in the numbers, and that is something which makes you actually
you're always on the edge.
You're always on the edge, exactly. So it works both ways. If you're really a performer, you excel, and if you're not, then there is a pressure on you to perform, dealing with all the upswings and downswings, and being there, having a balanced approach to both success and the failure. So within the Forex field, there are multiple opportunities that we have. So one is it's a market facing role wherein you interact with the bankers, you study the market. It's called more of a front office role. The other piece is more of a mid office, and what I mean by mid office is of that of risk management. So whatever transaction that really takes place in the market by the front office dealers is something which is being assessed for the risk within the policy compliances by this mid office team. And then there is something called as a back end. So back office ensures that the entire transactions are reported, they are evaluated for the performance. So within the Forex itself, you have multiple places and different expertise that is required, where you can actually expand yourself as a career aspirant, and what tools which is required for each of these functions may be different. For example, if you are a front office person, you would be more exposed to the Reuters and the Bloombergs, and more into the chart study, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, all of that, where the world economy goes, the underlying economic trend, which would really help you to take certain view on the Forex market and the financial market in general. But if you're more of a mid office or a back office person, it is more of an analytical role that you're playing. Ongoingly, always in like look out that whether the functions undertaken by your front office team members are in line with the corporate objective, whether they are in compliance with the risk management policy signed off by the board. And especially for the back office, one of the key functions that they perform is more of a data management. And nowadays there are like treasury management softwares, and corporates have actually woken up to the fact that for managing the data of this size, you also require a software. So TMS, as we call it, treasury management software, is something which has become so critical of late. And if you are into a back office or a mid office, managing the data, analysis, the report, even the dashboard report for the management is all what you can develop by really working on the TMS. And having that expertise of managing the data, managing the software, can always give you an added advantage when you are handling the function in the Forex market.